Alrighty, and let me try and do this in a way that you'll be able to see everything. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. The microscope parts. Okay, as you might expect. Oh, come on, get out of my way here. Bite you on the face. Okay, as you know, this is the camera. Okay, the optical pieces that go together or come apart so that you can focus. These are the various lenses that are of different strengths. Okay, you're all seen that, right? This is called the stage. The stage goes up and down, back and forth. It'll go this way, and up and down. Now, the way it goes up and down is by, ooh, there's not enough light there. Hold on. Wow. All right. Yeah, there we go. Is by turning these knobs. This is the gross, which moves the stage a lot. This is the fine, which moves the stage a little bit. This is how you get your focusing done. Over here on the bottom is a post. There's two parts to the post. One moves the stage north to south, if you will. The other one moves it east to west. Okay, this way you can nicely center your, ooh, hold on, somebody else here. There we go. Okay, on the bottom, this is the light source, which I'm turning on right now. There's also, I don't know the name of this blessed thing. It's also another lens that it goes through. If you can see, there's a little stick on this lens. Okay, and what it does is this. Can you see the light in the middle there? It can lessen or increase the light that you already have, okay? And I'm sure it has a name, I've just simply forgotten it, okay? And of course, next to the on-off switch, we have a little wheel that makes the light brighter or not, okay? Now, the things that you'll be working with a lot, and I suggest there's a little wheel over here that can take this, and I'm sure, like I said, it's got a name. There it is. This guy here. Okay. There's a little wheel that can bring that all the way up to the top, all the way down to the bottom. I usually keep it all the way up here, okay, at the very top. Just easier for me to do, to not have to manipulate so many things. Okay, so once again, these are the optical pieces. They come out. Usually they come with a couple of them. I like these guys. You can squeeze these in or apart. You can actually maneuver them an awful lot, but just get it so that when you look in the microscope, you're just seeing one circle, okay? The lens you're going to be using absolutely the most is going to be the oil lens. And it will say, hopefully you can see it. It will say 100/125, but on the top it says oil. Sorry, I'm doing this just, okay. And so that's the one you're going to use the most. I suggest that you keep this facing you. If you want to change the position of this whole piece, all you have to do is kind of unscrew it here, okay, and it will move. But it's easier, only because I'm used to doing it, to have it right there. So when I set up for doing a live blood cell, if you're right-handed, which I am, okay, it's helpful if you have the camera in, whatever camera you have, already plugged into the computer, okay? I have this here, I already have it kind of set up so I can see it, and I'm going to be maneuvering with my right hand. So, sorry, here we go. I'm going to be maneuvering with my right hand, either the gross, the fine, or where the slide is on the stage. Okay, you'll notice that the lens here and lens down here can get some dust on it. You might want to wipe it off at the beginning, okay? And believe it or not, that's all you need. Now, when you do put a slide on, okay, what you'll do is you'll put a slide on so it fits in these calipers, which you can move around a little bit. Make sure that the light is over where the blood spot is, okay? And you have your oil on it. And all you have to do is bring this up until it touches the oil. Okay, then look in here until you see the cells. Sometimes they flash by you. So you go back a little bit, then you use the fine to set it up. So I'm going to do it. Should I do myself again so you can see the whole process before you guys do it on yourselves? Yes? No? Maybe?
Also, Jess, at the last bit, when you were talking about putting the oil and moving it up and down, we were looking at your camera and not at the stage. So I wasn't quite sure what you were doing.
Okay. So
that's it.
How about I let me just do a demonstration one, not with blood, just with, let me just set it up, okay? Don't tape it a mo.
I love your shirt. Dream of the blue turtles.
Love turtles. Okay. Microscope slide. Okay. When you put a drop of blood on it, you want to put a cover slide. You want to prep it beforehand to make sure you only have one cover slide. Okay, you cover it. As soon as you cover it, even though I thought it was, yeah, there it goes. It was two of them. There we go. Now, once I have the cover slide on, okay, you can't see the cover slide. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to just describe what I'm doing, then I'll show you. I'm going to put it in the calipers, center it over the blood spot. Okay, now I'll bring the camera down. Okay. So what I've done here is center the lens over the blood spot. Okay. Now, what you need to do is look straight at the wood on my desk. There you go. Is put kind of a goodly drop of oil on there. And before you look in here, you're going to bring the stage up until it just touches. You'll see it make a, see how it just touches the oil? Okay, kind of makes a little meniscus. It just touches the oil like that. And then you're going to look in here, bring the stage up until you see the blood pattern. And then you use the fine control to see the blood itself. Should I do it with blood? Anybody? Should I demonstrate again? I'm happy to do so.
Please.
Oh, for you, Anna.
Going, ouch.
Huh?
We like listening to you go ouch when you prick your finger.
Okay. Well, that's always a good
We're
thing.
all
All righty, let me just set a couple of things up.
I want to check your blood out.
Yeah, I've been using that as a all righty. I usually set up the microscope slide in the cover sheet, so I have it already. Like I said, use single-use lens sets. It's easier, better, and you won't get any artifact. Okay, everybody's going to hear me yell "youch." Whoa! You get a nice, where is it? A nice drop of blood. Okay. Now what I do is I kind of put it down onto the blood like this. And then I flip it over. And then when I notice the blood, Okay, when I put the cover slide on, yeah, that's what should happen. Should spread. Okay, and that's important. If it does that, you know you got a good piece of good, nice blood, right? Okay. Anyway, get this all out of the way and set this up. Stay in one spot. Yeah. Sorry. Now, I've got the really not set up to do this, but I'm going to try. Okay. So I've got the, if you look at where the blood spot is, okay, make sure that your microscope lens is over the blood spot. In this case, it's way over here. Okay, as long as you're there, because I can't tell you how many times I went looking for the blood spot. Okay, and I think it's someplace else. All right. Now, I'm going to put some oil on it and going to bring this up just until you see the lens touch the oil. Okay, and I'm going to leave it there for a moment because what I'm going to do now is turn the program on and share the program with you, because from this point forward, you don't get to see my beautiful eyes. You get to see the program. This is it. You know, once you've done it once or twice, it's like, okay, no big deal. Okay, I have my program on. I'm going to share my screen with you to show you exactly what I do. I did send you guys a video on how to use the program, okay? But this is what it will look like when you turn it on. When you connect, you just click that. You've now connected the camera. Now, I'm using a kind of a middle amount of light, as you can see. All I'm going to do right now is I'm going to bring this up. I'm going to bring the stage up until I can see the blood. Just do it slowly. And you sort of see me go by it like that. Okay, something's moving, right? Now I'm going to use the fine tuner, if you will, to see if I can't. Ooh. The motion of my blood is a good thing, by the way you just saw. It means it's finally loosening up. Remember how bad it looked? All right, I'm going to hit the auto on that a couple of times. I'm going to get my white balance, which is kind of over here, and hit the white balance. Okay, I'm going to sharpen it up a bit. Okay, I can make light less or more. Okay, until I have a view that I happen to like. Bring that up to 75. And if you guys remember from last week, this is like a quantum leap better than I looked before. Okay, a little bit of contrast. Now this is where you get to, whoa, you need to play a little bit until you get the video that you like, okay? What I like to do immediately is take a snapshot, hit snap. So I have what I first start out with, and then I can start looking around, okay? Let's see if I've improved any, because I've changed my diet. I've been watching my sugar. I have been doing a lot of stuff. I do this in front of you all. I do this without embarrassment, okay? Why? Because I'm a human being. Shh, don't tell anybody, okay? I've been hiding my DNA for a long time, okay? And I do have my issues, okay? But I didn't realize it was as bad as it was until at the first session with you. I was like, ah, but you didn't see me do, ah, because I'm used to not reacting, you know? Okay, so what am I seeing?
Dr. Jess, I thought you were a Klingon.
Say again?
I thought you were a Klingon.
Maj, Klingon, so
Yeah,
Maj. If you want to know anything about Klingon, learn the phrase, revenge is a dish that is best served cold. Although my son Jesse knows the entire Klingon anthem. I don't know. He's amazing. So we're seeing Relay. We're seeing Candida, which I obviously still need to fight with. Okay. Not as much roll as last time, you'll notice there's some areas that move pretty good. Okay, which means my blood is loosening up. The worst thing you can see is everything, remember I said all clumped together, and you start seeing those thrombocytes all clumped together, which really, shall we say, made me sit up and take notice. All right. But when you do your live blood cell, and you get somebody who's like just moving like crazy like this, okay, you can't follow it along. Okay, first of all, that's a good thing. Just move to a place in the slide that you can see these better, okay, because it won't all be like that. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to move to a place in the slide and I'm going to test you guys. I'm going to point at something and you're going to tell me what it is, okay? So let me get a little bit of more contrast in here, a little bit of gamma. And again, play with the settings until you see, or you see what you like, okay? Because, let's see, exposure, gain. You need to get used to your own program, okay? Okay, I'm gonna, hopefully you see this as well as I do. Okay, what do you think this is here?
White blood cell.
Thank you. Okay, tell me the general conditions of the cells. Would you call all right, it's obviously Rollet there, okay? Would you call this loose Rollet, moderate Rollet, tight, or severe Rollet?
Say it's moderate, it's moving.
Mhm.
Moderate, because there are quite a few sort of loose and not conjoined, and
Mhm.
it doesn't look sticky.
Okay, what is this?
Candida?
Exactly. Candida will, just so you know, will look like a piece of cotton. Okay, that's how you know what it is. All right, you don't have to see it all, up close, but you want to see if you start, it's a hyphae, which means it's an active form. Okay, let's move along and see what else we can see. Okay. And again, what is this?
Candida,
And what is this that I'm pointing at right now?
parasite.
Bacteria.
That's a parasite.
Okay.
And if I was able to get real close on them. Now, here's the thing, when you see something like that, and you're like, well, it's pretty obvious to me, okay? Or usually if somebody gets frightened, I'll just look at this and say, there's something you don't see every day, and they usually crack up. Okay, I can make anybody laugh. Shh, don't tell anybody. I'll get a little closer and see if I can't play with the focus a bit to see if I can isolate it. And this is kind of obvious because it's kind of sticking out, and there isn't a part of a red blood cell. Like if you look at this is just a red blood cell on the side. Okay. And here, that's not a red blood cell on this side. Okay. This one looks like it's a little bent, but this is kind of obvious. So do I get like ultra upset about it? No. You look for, let's take a little snap of it. Okay, go back to here. Now, if I want to make a movie, if I want to make a video, okay, here's how you do it. You hit record, set a name for the file, set where you want the file to go. Like I already have it set to go to my my file in my computer. Okay, hit next. WMV is probably easier to work with. Bit rate, quality, whatever it says, you can just hit the defaults if you like. That's where they are. Now, Jess, and what's today's date? Okay, next. Now, I like to limit it to 1 minute. Okay, you can keep it ongoing and so forth and so on, but 1 minute is pretty cool. Now, when you've hit finish, you should see this. Okay. And that should mean that it's recording. So here you can see the parasite. You can move it around, focus it a bit more. See the moving cells, which for me is a good thing. If you want the video to stop, just hit the red button. Okay. It is not going to be recording your voice or anything like that, your narrative. Okay. I'm like immensely happy this is happening because I'll show you the before pictures later. Okay, just when I'm done. Okay. Sometimes it's better to take a bit of a video because you can see what's going on a bit better. Okay. That's just the cell kind of squoze in between. Okay. You see how it stopped up here? It turned back to blue. Yes.
Mhm.
That means my
Yes.
1 minute video has been recorded and stored.
Okay.
So, and again, you can set it for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, however, get a little practice and then see what you like. You know, a lot of the other microscopists, as you've noticed, will have it on this big television, in which case you can see a lot better, but they don't record anything, I've noticed. They may take a picture of it, but they don't record it, okay? So over here, I'm gonna go to the very edge of the slide. As you get to the edge of the slide, you're going to see stuff like this. When that drop of blood spreads, okay, at the edges of the slide, they're going to crumble up like this. So what I do is I usually look at the thing and say, boy, I'm at the edge of the slide. Let me move to the middle of the slide and then refocus, because that's not really what you're seeing. You're phenomenal. That's not really representative of that patient. It's raining cells. Hallelujah, it's raining cells. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. No? Oh, well. I try to be funny. Okay, notice parasitized red blood cell here. Okay, notice other indications of parasitized red blood cells. Okay, again, play with the light if you need to until you get what you like. Okay, and it's different with every microscope and camera combination. There's no, you know, like this one, I definitely want a picture of, because what I'm seeing here is telling me kind of what I already know, that what I'm having is over here, these are two red blood cells that are sharing the parasite. They're having parasite intercourse. If that turns you on, sorry, bad joke. Okay. I'm seeing some cells that are breaking apart. I'm seeing a little bit of Rollet. Why do I have to keep focusing? I have no idea. I'll just do it.
Dr. Des, can you remind me again what the donut ones, the ones with a white
They're
sort of
called
center?
target cells. That can be a whole mess of different things. I don't know that it represents a pathology. A lot of times the cells will be a little bit attenuated in the middle. The things that are here, and if you're going to move it using that post, moving north or south, east and west, just be very, very gentle with it, because I got a couple of things here that are interesting. This, and what's going on over here. Okay, so I'm just going to play with the focus just a bit, because sometimes what looks like horrendousness when you change the focus isn't. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what's going on up there. So let me Bring it to 150, bring it over here. What's going on right there? Let's see. Sometimes the color will get in the way. So if you want to, you can go to color and gray and make it black and white and just play with it a little bit and you'll see. Okay, I'm not exactly sure what that is. I can't get it in clear enough. Okay, do not be afraid to do a second, if everything gets screwed up, just look at it and say, I'm going to have to do this again. Patients will rather you do it again than make assumptions, okay? And there's no shame involved, sometimes you get these people who don't want to bleed, and you have to warm them up and stuff like that or whatever. Okay, let's see if that helps at all. Nope. All right. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to save these in my file. And then I'm going to show you week by week, okay? This is.
Dr. Jess, it looks like you put a lot less fiber in than last week.
Yeah, you noticed that too, huh?
Yeah, it looks good.
Awfully nice of you. When I name it and I save it, okay, just hit save as, it goes to the file that I want. I usually do this by date, and I'll put A, B, C. If I do a challenge, I'll name the challenge. Okay, and here. Okay, so right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the camera off and I'm going to go to my file and show you week by week what's been going on, okay? There we go. Actually, unfortunately, last week I didn't save it, so we're going to start here at the beginning of the month. Okay, let's see if I'm just making sure that it's there. Okay, great. Let me share this. Okay. This is the first time we met, and you will notice that this is severe or very tight Rollet. Okay. When I say bordering on aggregation, if you put these all together, you would say that the cells are aggregated. Now, what would you see on a lab test with this? I can tell you one thing, the erythrocyte sedimentation rate, the ESR, will be 0, 1, or 2, because these red blood cells are not going to be going down that column as the test is being done. You can see white blood cell candida. Okay, let's go to another one. Okay, again, you're seeing candida, and you're seeing a lot of that fibrin and an awful lot of Rollet. Okay, this is where when I took that black oxygen organics, just the drink, okay, and I waited exactly 5 minutes in front of y'all, or in front of me, whatever, and it separated. So that meant what?
That it became alkalized.
Yes, it became alkaline. So my blood became alkaline, and it would just be temporary, okay? And so the red blood cells are going to separate out, okay? Because the reason that they're together like that is because of the Rollet. And I don't know what that is, but I don't like it.
Are those spiky ones, are they what you call bottle cap, or are they something else?
They can be. I like to look at them, when I go from one thing to another, I say to myself, gee, what the heck is going on? And I look at those things as little bubbles. And after the research I've done, some of these guys, like this one down here, are just cells that are breaking apart. These guys over here, I think those are vacuoles that are trying to get their toxins out. Okay, this is another view from the same slide. Okay, notice the white blood cells here and here. When the white blood cells get kind of full, dealing with a lot of toxins, you're going to see them not only like this, but you're going to see them broken apart. Okay, another measure of how toxic somebody is. Okay. And again, you're seeing, you know, not so much. This I did with echinacea herb. Okay, because that's what I had at the time, which really just kind of increased the rollet, but the cells themselves look better. Now, last week I did the same thing. I did it with the black oxygen organics. And then the next slide, the next challenge I did was with Protovite. And what did you see then? It went from, where is it? It went from this appearance. Oh, not that one. To that, it went from that appearance, okay, to again, a bunch of rollet, but not real tight rollet. What was that from? So I did something and I separated the rollet. Okay, pretty good. I had some, listen, if you can't identify the cell, call it an FLC, funny looking cell. Okay, because what your real job here is not to sit there and identify every single cell you're looking at. Okay, what you really want to find out is what's wrong with the cells. How can the cells be fixed? If I see pathogens, how can I get them? The most obvious pathogens you're going to see are candida and parasites. Okay, so if I gave myself something else like Protovite, and it did something very similar to the that the echinacea did here, and I started getting more rollet like this. First of all, this rollet, how would you quantify it?
It's
It's fairly
definitely
loose.
yeah.
Moderate, right?
Moderate, yeah.
Okay, so here's the difference. Look at the rollet here. Let me turn my microscope off. Okay, look at the rollet here. And then, and look at, you know, because you can't always see them from the side, but, you know, just kind of look at how they look. And look at the rollet here. See, it looks like a bunch of tires that have been squished. If you stack car tires and squish them, if you could, that's the way they would look. And they're all gathered up like this. That would be very tight or severe rollet. Here, it's milder. Now, it's milder, but it's kind of a moderate. So your conclusion would be what? Okay. You look at somebody's blood and it's all gunked up like my first one. Okay. And had every indicator of, oh my gosh, you know, this person's in a lot of trouble, you know, and you didn't see me even panic. You saw me do this, you know, but after I hung up, I was like, ah, okay. Jen figured out what I needed to do and did it. If I needed a reason, I love being alive. Being alive is a good thing. All right. So it went from that super tight rollet with all the indications of severe acidity and toxicity. Then I gave myself the BOO, or the humic fulvic acid minerals, and it separated out. Cells look pretty good because they were separated, but there's still a lot of funny looking cells. Okay. And I'm assuming a lot of pathogens were still around because that's not going to get rid of it. And then after that, let's say I used the Protovite, and the cells, as I remember last week, actually came back into a mild to moderate rollet. Mild rollet would be just a few cells together. Moderate is more than that, okay? And the cells looked a little bit more robust, okay? They looked better. I didn't see a lot of funny looking cells, okay? which means that the cells were sucking up what I gave it. Your conclusion is what? What's going on with those cells? Here's where the rubber meets the road, people. Okay. I know I'm doing this, just dropping a bomb on you. When you first look at it, you say to yourself, oh my God, what the heck is going on? But we don't know where that acidity is coming from inside the cells or from the pathogens outside the cells. Okay. So let's say you challenge it with something, whether it's protovite or whatever, and then everything separates out. Okay. One of the conclusions is, all right, I know it's acidity. So maybe the problem is not so much with the cells, but what's going on outside the cell. How do I know the difference? Here, I'll tell you. I'll show you again. This is really important because this is why you hired me. You see this, you know somebody's in trouble. We had gone through it. A lot of acidity. You give them something and you see this, but even though the cells are separated, you got a lot of funny looking cells. Okay. That would mean to me that the serum is acidic, and I corrected it partially, but I should consider the fact that inside the cells are very toxic also. So last with the echinacea and last week with the protovite, which is liposomal and feeds the cells very quickly, I got what looked like this, okay? Which means that the cells were now dumping out some of their toxins. Notice the cells themselves here. Okay, they look decent, but after the echinacea, you may have more role, but look at the cells. They look pretty good. Okay, I know you can't see them all, but just kind of look at them from the side, and they all look kind of roundish, and I don't see too many funny looking cells. Okay, but if I go back to looking at right after the BOO and I look at it, you know, as a big picture, I'm seeing a lot more funny looking cells. And I'm saying to myself, gee, okay, certainly better than that, but not as good as this. My conclusion would be that this acidity, toxicity is coming in part from inside the cells. So my cells need to be fixed big time. Okay. And from outside the cells, from the pathogens you saw. The pathogens here were candida and parasites. So today, this was, I didn't do a challenge, but we saw the cells now in their state without any, not giving myself anything. Okay, look, not as bad. Okay, and remember the concern we had before about the coagulation and how that sets somebody up for thromboembolic disease? Well, I'm just playing the 1 minute video that we had, okay, where you can see things and hopefully it moves around a little bit. Okay. And I was happy, very happy that this was moving. Okay, the big change here is that my inflammation's going down. I still have the pathogens, okay? They're not long for this world, trust me, okay? And my blood is no longer that sticky that I have to worry about keeling over from a stroke, okay? And one way I knew what to do was I tested with what I was thinking of using, which was the Black Oxygen Organics and the Protovite, which I take twice a day, both of them. This is one thing you can do with your microscopes. And whether it's you know, whatever it is you're using, you can test right then and there, okay, how it's affecting the cells, but how you interpret the testing is very important, okay? And that's why starting right now, you guys got to do this yourself so we can evaluate. Even if all we do today is just get it straight how you do your blood analysis. We can start, listen, I told you, I like you guys. I don't care how many times, if we have to meet 5, 6, 10 more times, that's fine. Okay. If you learn how to do this reasonably well, because you'll get better with time. Okay. And then how to challenge with things, so you know what's going on inside and outside the cells. It focuses your treatment program to what has to be done first, how bad it is. Okay. And frankly, what you can use to help somebody. Questions?
Yeah, can I ask, I was fascinated, that last slide, the fast one, today's, why is it that on that one there's a lot more blood cells on their sides? I've not seen that on the
There's no
other
reason
slides
to.
really.
There's no
It
reason
doesn't,
to.
yeah.
But I'm sure that there is a reason. I don't know what it is, but what I will tell you is that it's not considered if you do the blood exam a couple times on yourself, let's say a few minutes apart, guess what? You're gonna see different things. Okay. And don't worry yourself about that. Look at the condition of the cells, look for pathogens, look for movement. Okay. Everybody's going to be different. And a lot of it has to do with the camera. The cameras, the mood of the program that day. I can't tell you how many times I've reinstalled this program, to get it done better and cleaned my microscope. And I just stopped going crazy and looked at the bigger picture. In other words, the preponderance of the evidence. You see one parasite's not a big deal. You see 1, 2, 3, see them extracellular, intracellular on each slide, you got a problem. You see one candida hyphae, no big deal. You start moving around that slide and that one slide, and on each slide you're seeing 4 or 5. That's candida overgrowth. Okay, there's no argument about it, and you don't have to get overly specific. In other words, there's the the dormant phase, and you see a bunch of hyphae, and that person's got excitation, or they've got they're sitting there talking to you while they're chewing on chocolate because they really crave sugar, stuff like that. You can correlate that with their symptoms. You sit there and you go, okay, all right. What else?
Yeah, I have a question. It was something that Shireen mentioned, that if you squeeze your finger to get blood out, that it changes the cells. Can you just remind us how they change and what we should be looking for?
She says that what you should do if you can is let it come out naturally. But if it's when you go, woof, you supposedly crunching the cells. I've never seen that, and I've had to squeeze it out a few times. I don't use an awful lot of force, but sometimes you can get creative. I had a girl with an eating disorder, okay, and had a lot of anxiety, and her mother brought her in. This was in, I think, Manchester, and she was scratching and scratching and scratching, and she didn't want me to stick her finger, but I looked at her arm where she was scratching and she was bleeding a little bit. I said, can I just take some of that? She said, sure. I went, boop, boop. Able to see, not perfect, but I knew it was wrong. Okay. Seriously, you got to be a bit creative. Okay. If, when you put the slide on top of the blood cell and it doesn't spread, you're dealing with very thick blood. Okay. This has to be done within the first 10 minutes of you taking the blood. There is no way of, sealing it and transporting it overnight. I've tried. It doesn't work. I had one person bring me their blood. They had sealed the edges with, I guess, Vaseline or something. And she kept it in a refrigerator overnight before she came to see me in Much Markland. And it looked pretty good. It's the one and only time I ever saw that. But frankly, it's got to be fresh blood. Now, what Shireen showed you was a way of looking at dried blood and making lots of observations from that. And what I do is I have a little kit that I can send my patients. It has 2 slides in it with a transporter, which is a plastic thing. Okay, and I'll send them a couple of the lancets. Okay, a couple of Band-Aids. And I send them all the instructions on what to do. And basically what I do is I have them stick their finger and go bump, 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 you know, for about 8 times. I tell them, don't make it very thick. Sometimes I have to wipe it and just give, you know, often I've had to send it again because if the blood is too thick, then all you see is cracking. They get it. And they give me some pretty good information that I can use at a distance. Okay. They just have to wait like a half hour for the blood to dry, put it back in the holder, close the holder. And I usually give them a stamped envelope to bring it back, to send it back. And that isn't time intensive. So for America, first class mail, which is the slower of the mails that are here, would work just fine. If you wanted to do that, if you couldn't see somebody. Now, if you're where people can, you know, see you on a fairly regular basis, just think of the opportunity of being able to test what you're doing, whether you do it weekly, every month and so forth, look at the changes. You've just seen me make changes in my own blood inside of 2-3 weeks. Last week didn't look any better. This week, I'm pretty impressed. A little shocked too, but pretty happy about it. All right. So you can test if you have this on your own, it's, as you can tell, it's no big deal if you just want to do a spot check, so to speak. Okay. And if something's not working, you can challenge it with something else, whether it's herbals or whatever it happens to be. What you cannot do is put a drop of blood and put a drop of whatever you want to challenge it with on the blood. Okay. My friend Elizabeth did that. And I said, why would you do that? It's going to look like Hiroshima. And it did. Yeah. Because if you put a drop of, let's say, an herbal on blood, think of the concentration as opposed to what would be going through your bloodstream and depositing in the area. You know, it was like dropping an atom bomb on it. I'm like, it looks terrible. I'm like, yeah, well, stop putting it on there. Take it and figure how long it takes to get in. And then retest.
Sorry, Dr. Jess. On that note, so if you use something like you used last week, can't remember the name of it, the black, what's it? Black
Yeah, it's called Boo. Like Boo.
Yes, Boo. So yes, it worked within that period of time. Then we noticed, later on the bloods had returned to how they were. So we know that it temporarily does something, but how do we know with that protocol how long? I mean, do you know what I mean? So if it wears off, it's got an effect, yes. But how do we know how to keep treating with that if it's only temporarily fixing it?
Well, here's the thing. I've been doing, you can talk to anybody or make up your own protocol. I've been doing that twice a day, plus 1/8 of a teaspoon, by the way, and a dose of Protovite twice a day. Okay. And I could do it 3 times a day, twice a day, whatever it is. But I just did that. The next week, not so much. This week seems to be making some changes. Okay. Now I'm going to go after the parasites, either using an herbal or some other things that, that whatever you use for parasites. I'm going to go after them and the Candida. Grapefruit seed extract will do that, oil of oregano. I'll start putting that in, but I'm going to put that in real slowly because I don't feel like herxing like crazy. Okay. I'll fold that in.
What did you say? I don't feel like what?
I don't feel like herxing like crazy. Herxenheimer reaction, die-off reactions.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can control the amount of herxing or die-off by your dosing. Okay. Same thing if you're treating heavy metals. So I will use on myself this because it's sitting right next to me. I can pet it. Okay. And, follow myself along. So think about it. How long should you do it? Well, once the parasites go away and the candidas calm down, at least I got the outside of the cell problems taken care of. And if I keep feeding my body what it needs to heal itself, I got the inside of the cell stuff taken care of. So when I start seeing a more normal live blood cell without me having to give myself anything, and that could be 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, don't know. That's when I'll withdraw from stuff and see how I do. As long as I'm keeping a certain pattern of diet, exercise, fresh air. I mean, I've been on my bicycle like, to exercise and so forth. And I'm very serious because I've been ignoring my health. All right. I know I shouldn't, but that's what I've done. Okay. To be completely frank, and I don't like it. So how long? It's not a protocol. Here's the thing. I'm very big on individualized medicine. It's the name of my bio-individualized medicine. Protocols are jumping off points. What this told me was, oh my God, he's acidic as hell. And he's got lots of clots in there. I don't feel like dying, So what would I do for that? Well, let me alkalinize. Okay. Let me start a good foundational program, which is fixing the gut, fixing the cells, me and the leaky gut. I started using nattokinase, 500 twice a day to loosen the cells so I, wouldn't stroke out, stuff like that. So you take what you do for different things, put it together in an order that is the most important for the patient. You now know by looking at the cells, what's the most important thing. If you did nothing with what you saw on you'd want to give that person either a baby aspirin every day or start loosening up those cells because that person's in real danger of having some kind of thromboembolic event. Okay. If you know that the boo is, all right. So whatever you use to alkalinize somebody, some people use bentonite clay, whatever you're going to use on whatever basis you usually use it. So maybe once a day, maybe twice a day. If you're using 1/8 of a teaspoon, it's a very small amount. Okay. And then maybe start fixing the gut, fixing the cells, getting what you need in the cells and start healing them. Okay. I'm sorry, there's no book of protocols. But what you do is take each one. I do this for leaky gut. I do this for clotting. I do this. And you start saying, okay, what's important? And then start building it into an individualized protocol. However you do it. However, everything works. Everything we do works. Okay. However we approach health, it all works. But the order in which it needs to be done is important. This is one way of helping you do that. A lot of times testing won't tell you. A lot of time testing is confusing.
I guess that's why the live blood was quite good with in the fact that it seemed to sort of suggest more evidence into sort of organs and zones, and I quite like that aspect, sort of a bit more diagnostically clear, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Shireen's got it down to a science. The reason I asked her, I used to teach a little bit of it, and I would say introduction, but I didn't understand it that well. Shireen grabbed it, chewed on it, and really understands it well. And honestly, I send stuff to her. If I take it, I'll send it over and say, what do you think about this? We do that, all of us. You're not going to have to pay me to help you go over, a set of, live blood cell analyses. I just happen to be better at that because a lot more experience. Shireen really knows it well and can tell a lot of things. The only other problem with dried blood cells, to be perfectly honest, it's a little harder to get, honestly, to get the patients to look at it and say, yeah, okay, that makes sense. When they're looking at live blood cells and they're smiling at them, that's one thing. The dry blood cells, oh, that spot there, that line there, it is a little tougher for them, okay, to understand and be compliant. The live blood cell, if I did what I did and then the boo, do you think that person would take the boo twice a day like I told them?
Mm-hmm.
With what they saw? Bet your buns. Okay. But it's all in the way how you handle your practice. Just remember, this kind of thing puts you above and beyond most practitioners who are guessing. Some are guessing better than others. Okay, but this is more, staring at you right in the nostrils and making it very individualized. Okay, who's got a microscope set up that we can watch them do this? Because you guys have to practice.
Share what I afternoon, because last week I really freaked out with my blood, and so I did it this afternoon just as a practice to see, and I
Please
just
do.
took some pictures,
Do
and I would just want to
pop them
love
up.
to share what I mean. Yeah, my camera wasn't working correctly last week, but this is what my blood looked like. It was like lots of funny looking cells, these things with dots. I didn't know what all this was. Lots of candida. There was a lot of agglutination. And then, so the only thing I've changed, like you, Dr. Jess, was my diet. And this is what it looks like today, this afternoon. Woohoo! It's still got a lot of candida, a lot of candida. Okay, so now I know what my issue is. So
Right,
my only
right.
change
Before I was going to say parasite, 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 parasite. Okay. But then you change your diet and you got a better look. And what did you see? You see mostly candida.
Yeah.
Go to the first ones again, please. Is it me or is it a little fuzzy?
It's probably a little fuzzy, yeah.
Okay, go back. All right. No.
What do you want to see? The first, this one.
Yeah. Actually, the other one.
Okay.
No, keep going.
Oh, this was the first one.
Okay, yeah. See, the first one I would have looked and said, wow, the guy in the middle and the guy in the upper right, I'd have suspicions, and the guy in the southwest corner there, I'd have suspicions of parasites. Okay. The fuzzy thing that's on the 4 o'clock position. Okay, that looks like candida. Yeah. Okay, could have been that or a clot, blood clot. Okay. So then go to your new ones. Okay, so here, the quality of the cells looks really nice. This is what cells should look like. Round with a little bit of attenuation in the middle. And if you look around, you will see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, at least 8 candida cells. Okay, sort of like looking in a shrine. That is a white blood cell.
Okay.
A nice looking one too. Okay, so here, without giving yourself anything, and here you've got, this is mild Rollet. Okay. And I do see some candida towards the top. I'm not sure what's acting as a cap on the guy
down here.
Yeah. Could I have I'm going to request remote control here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. So can everybody see my I'm circling my cursor. Can everybody see my cursor?
No.
No?
No.
Okay,
No.
how about that?
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah. That's
Okay, so this particular appearance, you see that? I tend to see with people with parasitic illness. I don't know why. It's like a cell with a hat on it, and it's got this like kind of a light cell. I've seen that a lot. This is candida. This is candida. I'm assuming if I could focus better, that would be candida. Whoa. Sorry. All right. There's a time lag, I'm sure. Anyway. Okay, this is what the practice you need here is getting this not so dark. Okay. So start playing with the contrast and everything. But I'm seeing candida, more candida. So if you were gonna make an assumption here for a patient, you'd say candida is the major issue. And that's what I would start treating. I'm not sure what's going on here. It's a little fuzzy. Okay, this is 5 October. That's the other one, right? That's your
that's last week. Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So let's if you started changing your diet and drop the acidity, okay, and the result was something like this, it's a simpler fix. You see, when you first see this, when you first see something as horrible as this, you're like, right? But this just goes to show that a lot of people have pretty good looking cells, and they just simply need at first a dietary change. And then you look at the preponderance of the evidence and you realize that candida is the major issue. And here's the thing, guys. I want you to understand, okay? Oh, there we go. When you want to kill a bunch of pathogens, the best way to do it is to make the environment inhospitable for them. So if your dietary changes made some major differences and you were going to just now gently treat the candida, you're probably not too far away from creating the normal, relatively alkaline-based environment. And then the other guys who are hanging around there that have been just loving the acidic environment will start dying off easily.
Dr. Jess, how dependent is the quality of the blood on the time the client, let's say, eats, if they've just eaten and come in for a test, or if they've just had a particular drink, if they've had a Coke maybe before, or a beer or something like that?
Your point is well taken. I usually tell people not to eat maybe a couple of hours beforehand. A lot of times I'll see droplets of fat from their eating. If they were drinking a Coke or anything acidic, a cup of coffee, that might interfere with it. I will look up, I think there is some stuff written about how long you should wait and what you should do prior to getting the live blood cell analysis. Okay. I usually ask people to a couple of hours not to just drink water. Okay. And then we also have to worry about the quality of the water. Your point is very well taken, though. Somebody looks like they just had, an acidic drink, it's going to affect, just like taking the boo, it's going to affect it the opposite way.
Yeah.
One way of testing that is for yourself, like in your own investigations, go ahead and drink something acidic and then wait about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then first of all, do a base and then check it on yourself or any other victim you can get your hands on and hog tie.
And then another question.
Tying somebody up.
When, for example, I'm working energetically, it changes very rapidly, even doing nothing. How much would this change the blood if we just take blood, wait 20 minutes, take it again, wait 20 minutes? Are there shifts taking place as well?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I don't have that set of knowledge. I've not done it yet. And I would, and the only thing I can tell you to do is to set up whatever protocol you like. So you can say, okay, here's the base without the person doing anything. Okay. And then do your energy work. And then how long does it take for you to feel an energy shift?
What I meant more was how reliable is it? How does the blood change by itself, even if you do nothing?
Oh, with
Would it
energy
change?
work? Absolutely, it can change. Okay, I've done some work with Rife machines, okay, and other machines like that. And you'll see changes just like you saw with me actually giving physical supplements. Is it reliable? Repetition will tell you. Okay. And honestly, I don't have that much experience with that end of it. So I was hoping that I could help anybody who wants to do that set up protocols or help you interpret changes. Okay. Because I just simply don't have that area of expertise that I could say. But any changes you make, very reliable, because you're not going to go from, a big aggregation to, completely free of, in other words, go from severe Rollet to nothing, no Rollet without some type of intervention. It's just not going to, it doesn't happen throughout the day just for fun. Okay. It is reliable. You'll see it.
Yeah, that was my question.
Dry blood cell analysis, probably a little bit less so.
Yeah.
But the dry blood would be better for longer term goals. Nick. Didn't anybody play with this over the week?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I got some pictures also. I have my microscope set up next to me.
Okay, so why don't you show us the pictures?
Okay, let me see. Okay, I need to share my screen first, right?
Well, how are you feeling, by the way?
Flying.
How's your family, Lowell?
My ex-wife came out of hospital today, but she's really not very present. She's very disconnected, very fearful, and extremely weak at the moment still.
From the COVID?
Yeah, they say it's COVID, but it really came shortly after the vaccination.
Oh, God.
So whether it's COVID or whether it's a vaccination, I think it's more the vaccination because nothing's happened for a year and a half.
If you want, maybe tomorrow, whatever, we can have a nice conversation because I've had some success with reestablishing cell function just using Protovite and stuff. I know you do what you do, but maybe I can help add.
Yeah,
some
I'd
ideas.
appreciate that. Would be great.
Okay, so what are we seeing here, people? There's a few things. This is mild relay. Okay, in the very center, you're seeing something that looks like a parasite.
Where is that? Oh, here. This?
Yeah, exactly. That little tail coming
Okay.
off it. You know, if you look around, some of the cells that have black spots in them, okay, the one that's at the 1 o'clock position, about halfway up.
This,
No, little, yeah, that the one you're just pointing at, not that one, but go straight down to the left. Yeah, not that one, the one below it. There you go.
this one, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Now, when you see a bunch of them like that, you want to be suspicious of it. The other ones, the very dark spots, you just want to make sure that those aren't artifact on the film. If we, okay, hold on. Can I get remote control?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Okay. If you see my cursor right now, okay, there's a few things on this film that are very interesting. Number one, this is, again, mild relay. Don't overread the films, okay? This would be more suspicious of intracellular parasites. When it's that dark, like there, and there, might be artifacts. So you'll see it on each of the slides. Here might be an intracellular parasite, something like this. And again, you know, you have to see it multiply throughout. This kind of bubbling may just be something, a cell falling apart, or maybe vacuoles trying to let loose the toxins. Okay. Is there are there more than this?
Yeah, actually, I have another couple of pictures,
Okay.
but
Cool.
it's from a different person.
Okay, that's fine.
So-
All right.
Yeah.
Whoop, sorry, I cut it off. Let's put it
That's
back.
okay. Just let me. I need to go into. Oh, I've got a video.
Please go ahead.
I need to share my screen again. Sorry, I need to share my screen again. Right. Let me see this. How do I share my screen? There you are.
Poor hands.
Is it working?
Face again.
Is that working now?
No.
Wait.
I was admiring the background artwork, Nick.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's lovely.
Can you see that?
No,
I'm not sharing it, am I?
no.
Put it up on your screen,
Right.
then come back here, then hit screen share, and then pick it out from the window you want. I know it's weird, but that's the way it works.
This, okay.
There you go.
Oh, yeah, so that's it. So now I need to go into this. There you go.
Okay. Ooh, nice start from the beginning.
Can you see it now?
I sure can.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, these cells don't look healthy. Okay. There's a bunch of candida, and these type of cells just look like they're in a poor state of health. Okay, we'll just finish with this, and then we'll comment on it. Does everybody see the candida in here? It's like kind of the white puffy things.
Yeah.
Okay, you have some pretty good Rollet, I'd call it moderate. I'm seeing some crystals, and those are probably cholesterol crystals. The one that I just saw on the right-hand side was more of a oxalo crystal. Okay.
So the interesting thing is on this video is that the person I took this from hadn't had breakfast or anything,
Good.
and then after drinking water, it looked totally different.
Really good.
Totally, like healthy, Yeah, it was really interesting. I was like, "Well,
That's interesting that what you're seeing is dehydration.
okay, dehydration. So okay.
Well, if it fixes it, whatever you add fixes it. Do you have the second one?
Well, I need to look for it. Let me see.
Okay, take your time.
Yeah,
Because,
okay.
this is my commentary here was going to be, this is where challenging or using something else is important. Okay. And if you just gave them water, what you saw was the effect of dehydration, which is pretty interesting if you think about it.
Okay, what was it?
What I noticed on that last clip, though, with I know we've said FLCs, but there are lots of little sharp edges on everything.
Right. So this is after you,
Yeah, this is like 10 minutes after drinking a couple of glasses of water.
okay. So this is really interesting that for that patient, dehydration caused such an issue. Okay. And those cells being smaller and bubbling and stuff like that. It also tells you that what the books tell you those cells isn't. It's not their own pathogens. But what I'm seeing here is a whole lot better looking cells, still a bit of Rollet. It's a little fuzzy. I'm seeing white blood cells, some candida. Is this a picture or is it a movie?
It's a movie.
Okay,
Yeah.
could you pull that back to the beginning then?
Yeah, of course.
Back to the beginning if you would.
Right at the beginning. Okay, there you go.
Okay, great. This is great information, by the way, okay? So what I'm seeing in here is, again, mild Rollet. There are some of those other cells that we saw before still there, okay? Not seeing anybody swimming around. So if somebody is so thoroughly affected that their dehydrated cells look like this, and then after a little bit of water, one of the things you have to think about is that, maybe their cells aren't hydrating easily. And either you want to add electrolytes, or maybe they have leaky cells that, can't maintain their shape because the cell membrane is not patent. What kind of symptoms does this person have?
Excuse me?
What kind of symptoms does this person have?
None. No, it's just like me trying figuring out how this lifestyle
Good.
Yeah.
I think
If somebody has
I
no
can.
symptoms, look at the
Or
first.
maybe Logan jump in.
Okay. In the first one, you'd look at it and say, how could that person not have any symptoms, right? If that wasn't one of your patients, this was just experimenting.
Yeah, I mean, but you can ask Lowell. I think he can give you some better detailed information.
Yeah, that's basically my daughter's blood.
Mm-hmm.
But she definitely has, from as far as I can see, a lot of skin issues, bad skin,
Mm-hmm.
and candida issues, so athlete's foot. So I was quite surprised how quickly it cleared up just with the water. And she definitely doesn't drink much water.
All right. So She has a lot of fungal kind of problems. Yes.
Yeah,
How old is she?
13.
Teenager. Okay. Nothing worse. Okay. If so she's not drinking a lot of water, so she's probably drinking things that are dehydrating her. Okay, and are feeding the candida. Okay. So if you're drinking sugary stuff and so forth, and you don't have enough water to detoxify, real often where you're going to see it's stuff coming out of the skin, in the way of rashes or whatever, because that's an ancillary excretory organ. No?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the best ways that if you could get her cooperation by seeing this, if that doesn't get her to drink more water and quality water, because water can be bad too. And then repeat it in about 2 weeks after she's agreed to a certain amount of water a day. First of all, hydration is the best thing in the whole wide world to get you to feel better. Okay. And it will clear up, it'll help her liver flush and everything else. The nice thing about this is that you're seeing what just plain old water, what plain old hydration does. Okay. Since she's a otherwise healthy teenager, she's otherwise healthy.
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Then having a bit of candida is not too unusual. Hydrate the heck out of it. If she's an athlete and, sweats a lot, she's going to need a little bit of electrolytes. And then redo this and see what you get. Okay. So, and by the way, this little bit of candida, the way I usually treat is with a little bit of oil of oregano. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it will get it. That or grapefruit seed extract, which tends to be a little less of an issue than oil of oregano. But oil of oregano kills a lot of stuff. A lot. Like you wouldn't believe. Including MRSA, by the way. This is impressive. This is impressive. You obviously have this down. You're obviously getting it down well.
Yeah, I mean, I can show you some other videos. My wife,
Please.
after she had some alcohol, very interesting.
Okay.
Oh no,
Your wife is actually letting us look at this.
She's in bed
Standing in
now.
front of it and going, no.
She doesn't. Oh, actually, no. This video was bad quality. Okay, no, it's
Right.
but maybe you can watch.
That's just very pixelated.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, I don't know if that's much better.
You have to keep doing this, and like I said, play with your programs until you get this the way you have, like this kind of pixelations, probably from. That's nice.
Yeah, that's my blood from, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, if you're looking at, I'm looking at this, there's a lot of relay, a lot of aggregation. So the cells themselves, I don't see a bunch of bad looking cells, but you're definitely acidic for some reason, and
Yeah.
one way of figuring that out is, do you have any other functional medicine tests on yourself? That
No.
blood cell.
How do you mean, like other functional medicine tests? Like,
Organic acid testing or anything like that. I'm not suggesting you get it. I'm just asking if you have it.
no, I don't. No.
Okay.
But I
So
mean, like, yeah.
go ahead.
Just for example, this is a different sample of myself. I mean, it's the blood changes so much. Okay, that's the photo. That's me. Yeah.
So bring it up.
Yeah, but this is just a photo here.
That's fine.
I don't think I have any other. Oh yeah, I do have
One
another.
we looked at before. Okay. But again, what do you
So
see?
this is.
You have another one?
Yeah. This
Okay.
video here.
All right.
A lot of stuff floating around here.
Mhm. We'll take a look at it. So again, I'm seeing some, mild to moderate relay. Notice the black spots on the top, they're kind of remaining. So that's probably artifact on your lens.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah.
Um, I see a bit of candida.
What is this down here?
What,
Can you
what? I can't see that down. And again, if
Oh,
you only see one of them, don't sweat it. Okay, but stay
okay.
right where you are at the moment, okay? Yes, you have that one thing down there by itself. And when you're looking at the live presentation, okay, if it's just sitting there doing nothing, okay, and there doesn't seem anybody around him that's, any other cells that look like that, then remember that you're making cells and breaking them down. The cycle happens every 3 months, and you're going to see some cells that look absolutely horrible. Now,
Mhm.
sometimes in the very middle of your slide, okay, remember I told you when you drop the blood on, you put the cover slide on, it spreads, okay? At the very
Yeah.
middle of the
Mhm.
slide is what I like to call the debris field, okay? So believe it or not, when you're there and you see these horrible looking cells, okay, those are the cells that are dying and didn't move out, okay? So sometimes if you just move the slide a little bit, you'll see the more active cells,
Mhm.
okay?
Okay.
Dr. Jess, would having too much alkaline drinks, water, would that make a negative effect on the blood?
Well, I think when you say alkaline water, are you talking like too much minerals in the water, or something that's been through ionizing plates? Which kind of water we're talking about?
Through ionizing plates.
I don't think that you can overdo that. Okay, I think it's kind of self-limiting. Like I drink 9.5 water from a Kangen machine, which is part of what I was doing here. And I did show you the lady who had the horrible cells, and I gave her 9.5 water and changed it right away. I don't think you can if you end up overdoing that, it'd be like drinking too much water, which would be bad. There are some people who can drink enough water to make themselves so dilute that their electrolytes go off balance and they end up in hospital. But I don't really think you can do that, with the ionized water. Let me give you a piece of advice and a piece of warning. If you have somebody who's taking a lot of psychotropic drugs, one of the best things you can do is alkalinize them, okay? But if you do too much too fast, it changes the dynamics of the medication. This happened to my son, Jesse. We went to actually had a microscopist come to my place, somebody who's a lot more experienced than I. She spent like 2 hours, we looked at she gave him this whole program of becoming alkaline by using all these different things. For 2 weeks, he was better than I'd ever seen him before. And then after that 2 weeks, he crashed and I almost had to hospitalize him. Her response was take him off his medicines. For a dad of a schizophrenic, that's a scary probability. Yes, if they were in a inpatient setting, that might work. So if you're going to, did I say, I'm sorry, I'm talking to myself. If you're going to make somebody alkaline and they are on psychotropic drugs, do it gently, okay, and monitor their symptoms. A lot of times it'll do very, very well, and you can actually start bringing down their medications. But if somebody's on atypical antipsychotics, you're talking about dealing with a lot of different receptors, okay, and that can be an issue. So just be careful, okay? And if you run into a wall with one of those, just give me a quick call. It's one of my passions, and I'm absolutely honored to help you with it, okay, if you run into it. All right. Did I send everybody files on how to make somebody alkaline? I got like a whole, all right. And today, when I send you this today, you're going to get like a whole set of files, or I might just, I'll let you share the Dropbox, and there's just a whole mess of different things you can do. You probably already know how to do it, but no knowledge is ever wasted. Sherlock Holmes.
Great, thanks. Thank you. That'd be great.
Thank you.
You know, Lowell, have you had a chance to do any of this? I know you've been very busy with your ex.
No, I haven't. I visited Nick and we did it together for a couple of hours.
Okay,
But the microscope's in England. I'm in Germany right now.
no problem. No problem. Just asking, brother. Just asking.
Yeah, yeah. Of course.
Anne, how about you?
Microphone, Anne. You,
I was either going to use American Sign Language or semaphore, one of the two.
I don't know what you were doing. I thought, sorry. No, I was just going to say, because lovely Lowell hasn't been in his clinic and it's quite a drive and we've had fuel issues. I too haven't.
Where do
been
you
to-
live?
Where do I live?
Yes.
Yes, West
In
Sussex.
England, I know where.
West Sussex.
Who?
West Sussex, near south of London.
All right, I'm going to ask one of my friends who I know is not using her microscope if she'll lend it to you for a while. Okay. And you guys can work it out. If you have a microscope to practice with, you know, and somebody's not using it because she just had a baby and blah, 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 you know, and she wasn't using it and she's got it, you know, you might, this is one of my old microscopes that keeps getting passed around. Okay, so I mean, I'd really like you to start practicing. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to get you guys to a level where you're comfortable with the program. You know, you can make sharp images. You know, interpretation we can do from now until forever. You know, I'll have you on a Facebook group that, you know, I check in every day and we'll look at different things and we can discuss it that way. We can meet at intervals. You know, it's okay. I mean, this is, you know, you're part of my family now. You know, I'm Sicilian, so you know what that means. You. So that's what happens in Brooklyn. You know, we don't call the cops, we call the family. It works out better like that. It really does. Next week, I would like to see. How do you guys want to run it from here? Okay, it's obvious, Michelle and Nick, that you know you've got the technique down. You're getting better at it. Okay, it does take a little bit of, you know, a little bit more practice. What would you guys like to do from here? The only thing you did something with water. Shall we say, blaze new trails and do some of the other work with somebody, either here while we're on the screen working together, or whatever? What would you guys like to do from this point forward?
I mean, for
I
me, it
need
would
to
be,
prac-
yeah, sorry.
Sorry.
For me, just to
was gonna say,
interpret, I just like to see, to interpret what I'm seeing. That's, for me, the main thing. I think I've got down the microscope down, more or
All
less.
right, so do
I'm gonna fit it
more,
around.
get different people, children, whatever, get a base.
Yeah.
Okay. And if you're going to challenge with anything, whatever it happens to be, even if it's just water, go ahead and do that. Okay. And just kind of mark down how, you know, 2 glasses of water and, you know, 10 minutes later, this is it. You know, Michelle?
Yeah, I was just going to say I need to practice more. I've only just set up my camera correctly, and I was going to ask you. I used a Barlow lens in the end. I was looking online at some of the videos, and they were saying use a 0.5 times Barlow lens. So I had to order that. It took a long time to come. My software still isn't working properly, so I need to reinstall it. I installed it on another machine today, and I get something really interesting is happening. You get all the options, you know, like the white light balance or whatever it's called. And then as soon as I connect my camera, all those options disappear. So there's something not right between the camera and the software.
So I tell you what, why don't we make some time together next couple of days and we'll just do it together, you know, so we're not taking the group's time, because, you know, you have a different type of camera and takes a little bit of getting used to, you know?
Yeah, I did. I contacted Anne Pemberton and she said she wasn't using that camera anymore. She'd passed it on and bought another one.
Wonderful. But you can also answer what, you know, what kind of problems you might be having.
Yeah, no, but that'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah, because you know, what you have is wonderful. I'm just not used to it. I'm used to the regular camera, you know, so I've gone through all the permutations of what can go wrong with that. You know, by the way, when something doesn't work, make sure everything's plugged in. Good. Yeah. Try. I was doing that today. Like, why doesn't it go on? I'm like, Jess. I went to the back of the microscope and I just pushed the plug in. I was like, glad I didn't do that in front of everybody. Would have been embarrassed. You know. All right. And let's see if we can't get you a microscope to use for a little while. Would that be okay?
Yeah, and that would be amazing. I mean, Lowell has given, I can use it. It's just Lowell's a little bit further away from me, and it's just getting there sometimes logistically.
That's fine. I mean, if you have one at home, one at Lowell's, that's fine. You know, once you get to a point where you can use it, fine. You know, I'll put you in touch with somebody and then you guys work it out, because, you know, if you shipped it from there to there, I think it's a grand total of, you know, 15, 20 quid to do that, you know. And this way, it's just a matter of getting used to the thing, you know, and getting used to the program and stuff like that. Once you get used to it, it's like nothing. And then you get to the point where, okay, I want to interpret more stuff. So guys, do a lot of stuff this week. We'll go over it next week. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah, you know, I sent you an email. I think maybe if you stop the recording, I can tell you. I don't want to say what